In this video, we're going to be showing you just a few of the incredible features you'll find in Auto Album for Adobe Photoshop. Now, we're going to be using Photoshop CS5 on a PC platform for this demonstration, but of course, Auto Album does work on both the PC and Mac in both Photoshop CS4 and CS5. So what Auto Album does, it allows us to quickly generate an album layout automatically. So it's really a great tool, a great time-saving tool that allows us to quickly generate an album layout, which we can then modify because everything is maintained as a layered Photoshop file, and then we can modify it, and then we can go ahead and send it off to the client for review. But Auto Album will also produce layouts that are already created for us. So let's come in here and take a look. And in this example, I have 3 layouts from our friends over at Graphic Authority. And Auto Album will work with literally any layered PSD file out there. So any templates that you purchase from any third-party developer, and there's a ton of them, as you well know, Graphic Authority, Pixel Monkey, PhotoDuds, I mean, you name it, there's a million of them out there. Or maybe ones that you've already created yourself. You can automatically populate those layouts with Auto Album. So in this case, I've got 3 different collage layouts that I want to quickly generate for my high school senior. I don't know if they're going to buy these layouts, but if I produce them with their images and show them to them when they come in to review the images, most likely they're going to be more likely to purchase them if I already have them created. If I just talk about them, then they're probably not going to be as interested. So here I can use Auto Album to quickly generate these layouts. If they buy them, great, and if they don't, well, I don't have a lot of time invested in creating them. So let me show you how this works. So what I have here, of course, I have my high school senior, and I've taken the images that I want to use for the collage layouts, and I put them in a folder. Now, one of the nice little bonus things that come with Auto Album is our presets. We have 50 black and white presets that we've included for you in Auto Album. And you can see this first image is a great looking image just as it is, but for this particular collage layout, I actually want to convert it to black and white. So all I have to do is right click on it, come down here to develop settings, and I can choose any one of these different presets. And I'm just going to try this black and white dramatic 3, for example. I'll hit my spacebar again, and you can see what a dramatic effect it's had on the image. It was just the click of a button. So I think you're going to find a lot of use with those presets. So when Auto Album inserts the image into our layout, of course it'll be converted to black and white, just as we see it here in Adobe Bridge. So now let's get to work. Let's go ahead and take a look at Auto Album, and it's super simple to use. So all we need to do is specify the source folder of images, the source folder of the 3 layouts that we want to produce, and hit process. And that's it. So Auto Album immediately goes to work, opens up the first layout, drops in our first image, automatically resizes it to fit, saves that first layout, boom, it's right onto the next layout automatically. And you're seeing all of this in real time. So literally probably within 60 seconds, less than 2 minutes, we have all 3 of those layouts created for us, and we virtually had to do no work at all. So it's really an incredibly time-saving tool. It's just going to make our work here inside Photoshop much, much easier. So that second layout is complete. Onto our final collage layout here. It just has 4 images. It's going to go ahead and drop those in. Now, once all of our images are in place, then we can use the Auto Album utility to make any changes that we want to make to the layout. Likewise, if you have Pixel Creator Pro or Easy Album, you can also use those utilities to make any adjustments that you want to make within the layouts. So now all 3 layouts are complete. Only took a couple of minutes. So let's come in here to Adobe Bridge, take a look at this. You can see those are the 3 layouts. So you can see that first one has been converted to black and white. Very cool. But let's go ahead and open up one of these layouts because we may want to make a couple of adjustments. Now in this particular case, we need to adjust these 2 images, just kind of reposition them within the window. So we're going to come into the Adjust Image Placement tool, and it's going to allow us just to reposition these images within the window. We can use the mouse and click and drag, or we could use our arrow keys for fine-tuned placement as well. Very easy to do. Anyone can do that. No special skills required there. The other most common thing that you're going to want to do when you're populating a multi-image layout like this is sometimes we might want to just switch an image from one opening to another. And of course, here with Auto Album, it's super simple. We simply select the two images we want to change out. So I want to take this image, this large image on the left, and drop it in the upper right hand corner, and of course take the upper right image and drop it in the left. So just go ahead and choose the swap image function here inside Auto Album, and it'll just flip-flop those two images for us automatically. We don't have to locate those images. We don't have to resize those images. It goes back to the original high-res versions of those images, finds the image and resizes it for the new window size, and just that quick switches them out. Again, no special skills required, virtually no effort on our part, and this layout is complete. We can add some text here, and we're ready to show this to the client. So that's one example of how easy it is to use Auto Album. Now, in the next example, we're going to show you how to quickly create an album completely from scratch, only a matter of a couple of minutes. Now this is where the fun part comes in for me with Auto Album, and that is generating an album layout very quickly and easily. One of the biggest obstacles for photographers in selling albums is the process it takes to design an album. So again, let's go back into our senior girl sample here, and you can see we have just a folder with a bunch of images. And what I want to do is I want to show you how you would quickly produce a layout for this high school senior. And this would work equally well for weddings or any type of album that you want to produce. So the first thing we need to do is tell Auto Album how many spreads are going to be in our album and what images are going to be on each spread. So this is what you need to do. We come into Auto Album and choose this option right here, Generate Spread Folders. And we're going to specify where we want these, the source directory of our images, which we already have that selected here, and then the number of spreads that we're going to have for this album. Now for this demonstration, I'm only going to produce 3, but if you're doing a 10 spread album, 15, 20, 22, doesn't matter. You would just type in the number of spreads you intend for the album, which in this case we'll just do 3 sample spreads, and we'll go ahead and choose Process. And what that does is actually creates 3 spread folders here in my source directory, which you see here, spread 1, 2, and 3. So now all I need to do is tell Auto Album what images I want to use for spread 1, 2, and 3. So for example, I'm just going to select 3 images kind of randomly here for spread 1. And then I'm going to scroll down a bit. We'll take these 4 images for the 3rd spread. And then for the second spread, we'll zip down here to some of these black and whites. Something like that. We'll do like 5 images in spread 2. Okay? So now, once we've defined the images we want to use on each spread, now we're ready to produce our album. Now, Auto Album comes with a nice collection of pre-designed layouts already to go for us. And all the layouts are broke down by number of image openings. So in the case of our first spread folder, we know we have 3 images. So what Auto Album will do is automatically randomly pluck a template from the 3 opening category and drop our images into it. Now, for those of you who have our Picto Design Volume 1 or Picto Design Volume 2, those templates are structured exactly the same way. So you'll be able to utilize all of those templates with Auto Album as well. So let's go ahead and produce the album. So what we're going to do here is come back into Auto Album, and we're going to go ahead and choose our source folder of images, and we're going to choose our template folder. So we'll choose a folder of templates, and we'll come to C Drive, we'll come down here to Program Files, Auto Album, Templates, and our Auto Album category. And then we're going to choose the randomize option. So we're just going to randomly pluck a template. And then we'll turn off the sequential option. I don't necessarily need that. Define our page size, which in this case we'll do a 10 by 20 album, and then we'll just go ahead and process this. So what it did is it immediately randomly selected a 3 opening template. It's built that template for us, and now it's just going to drop our images into it. And of course, once it's complete, then we can go in and we can modify the layout till our heart's content using the editing tools that you'll find in Auto Album. And for those of you who have Pixel Creator Pro or Easy Album, you can certainly use the editing tools in those two programs to modify your layouts as well. Now, for the second layout, we had 5 image openings. So again, it just randomly created a 5 opening template for us. And it's going to go ahead and drop our images in place. And we're seeing this all in real time. So you can see it happens very, very quickly from the creation of the template all the way to the populating of the template. It's very, very swift how quickly you can produce a layout. And then it goes on to the final layout, which in this case has 4 image openings. And it's going to go ahead and populate that. So it created the layout, and now it's going to go through the process of actually populating it with images. Again, we're seeing it in real time, so it just happens in a matter of seconds. Normally, we would just set this process, walk away, come back when all 20 layouts are done or 15 spreads are done when it's completely finished the album. But here you're seeing it all in real time. So now that is totally complete. All 3 of those spreads have been generated for us. So let's go take a look at those. You can see those 3 spreads right here. And then it's just a matter of coming in here and making any changes or modifications we might want to make. So let's go ahead and open up one of these layouts so you can just see some of the different changes that we might make. So for example, one of the things I might do is I might come in here and we're just going to kind of just randomly use our Photoshop skills. I'm going to set my background color to black. And for this image opening, you can see it has a very low fill opacity. I'm going to go ahead and bring that fill opacity back up a little bit. Maybe not quite so much. We can go ahead and leave it a bit dim. You know what might be fun here is click on our layer mask. Go ahead and grab our gradient tool. And then we're going to select the second option, which is a radial gradient. And we're just going to click. And I want it a little bit more faded. But you can see what a different effect that has, and you can just kind of play around with that. But I think that looks pretty good, just like that. And then, of course, we want to take this image here, and we should come into the Adjust Image Placement tool here in Auto Album and modify the image a little bit. And you know what actually is probably going to suit this image a lot better is actually changing the image opening itself. So let's come in here to the Adjust Aperture tool, and let's just change the window. So we're going to actually stretch this window out a little bit, pull it down. That's going to look so much better for this image because we really want to see that whole image. Doesn't that look a lot better? And then, of course, we'll adjust the image placement of this image over here. Something like that. And then finally, this last image, I think I'm going to choose the Adjust Aperture tool again. And we're going to just increase the aperture a little bit. And there we go. So now we have a completely new layout, just making a couple minor modifications and just going to really speed up the album design process using Auto Album. Now there's a few other features in Auto Album that we didn't cover in this video, but this should give you a good overview of the basics of what you can do with the new Auto Album software. Definitely check out the other videos to look at some of the other features more in depth. Thanks for watching.